2013, Target was responsible for a breach that caused the loss of 40 million users' credit card information. The data was then sold on the black market and led to even further identity theft in some cases. Many banks sued Target for the breach since they were covering their clients' loss or fraud, and there was money loss across the board, including with users, Target, and banks themselves. There were a lot of circumstances that led up to the incident. First and foremost, the POS system used for Target was online in detail, as well as vendors that they worked for and different systems that they use. This allowed for the attackers to become familiar with the information that they were dealing with. Credit card information from the initial swipe at Target was encrypted. However, it was not encrypted in memory. So once the information was stolen, it was actually unencrypted to the attackers. So the data was very accessible for them. In addition, Target only provided enough security in general to meet compliance standards, and they did not go above and beyond to create a good cybersecurity defense. The compromises that created the incident within Target was the refrigerator vendor who the information was initially stolen through had vulnerabilities. The attackers knew this because of the systems posted online, and they installed malware to the actual refrigerator system vendor portal. The attackers then accessed Target's network through the portal through automated updates. Because Target's POS system was customized, anti-malware could not detect any malware that was accessed through the vendor portal. In addition, a lack of encryption allowed the data to be usable as soon as it was stolen. In general, Target's lack of awareness with the vendors themselves and their security policies caused Target to be vulnerable. The methods used by the intruders were relatively simple because they gained their knowledge online about the systems and installed malware through the vendors. The data was stolen as soon as the credit card was swiped. From there, it was saved to files that they had access through basic username and passwords from administration of Target. This allowed for them to be relatively undetected, and I say relatively because Target was actually technically notified and chose not to do anything or did not think it was a serious breach. The weaknesses that were discovered from the investigation were actually quite a lot. Target missed the breach detection even though they had software installed to detect something like this. Their FireEye software notified staff in India, who then told staff in Minneapolis about the breach. However, the staff in Minneapolis either did not think it was a real breach or thought it was a false alarm because they chose to do nothing initially. Also, there is limited training for employees in logs and analyzing logs, which is why the employees probably chose to do nothing in the first place. The data was also not stored encrypted point to point, which should be a modification moving forward. Lastly, vendor portal was too easily connected to target secure data, and there needs to be some sort of separation between the two to keep attackers out. There's a lot of recommendations moving forward with Target and what they should do to have a better cybersecurity policy, but to go over a few, staff must be better trained to utilize expensive software that they have and understand the logging process and what to do when a log looks suspicious. They also should use the 20 critical controls developed, including application software security, malware defenses, and boundary defenses, just to name a few. A risk-based approach to cybersecurity would be beneficial. It would allow for Target to perform audits and find potential risks and what they should do to make it safer. Point-to-point encryption would keep the data itself safe. Even if stolen, it would be encrypted all the way through and much harder for an attacker to actually use the information. Additional recommendations include application whitelisting. If their application software was whitelisted, any type of malware would pop up as not okay to use and it could be shut down immediately. Target also needs to have a better awareness of what their vendor portals look like and what type of access is allowed through those, and create multi-factor authentication for the vendor portals themselves. Security information event management tool would be very beneficial because it would give Target live updates on the application and network and could be run very specifically with their FireEye software as is. Lastly, the devices used need to be up to date and patches need to be applied regularly so nothing can sneak through. If Target takes these recommendations moving forward, which I'm sure they have given the breach, then Target will be less at risk for a breach moving forward. And even if there is a breach, their data will be secure and protect the users themselves, which overall will a more user-friendly environment, and people will be more likely to shop at Target.